We've all heard bad music at weddings, and it can really make or break the vibe of your day. You're going to spend so much money on your music. I really want you to get this right. Ciao, I'm Lucy. I'm an Italian wedding planner and the founder of Lista.com. It's my mission to help everyone planning their Italian wedding to have a nice time doing it and have the most epic wedding day. I'm here every week with no nonsense advice so that you can plan your wedding with ease. So my process for sourcing music is actually quite simple, and I'm going to share some of my secrets today. So the first step is always to imagine your day. If you work through the moments of the day, you can make your best music plan. If you think about what you might want at the start, have a bit of a brainstorm. There might be things that you know that you just must have, and there are other things that are just ideas. If, for example, you know the exact song that you want to walk down the aisle to, and you're not going to have anyone play that is definitely on recorded music, then you might know that you just need a PA for the ceremony. Then ask yourself, are there any parts of the day that are more important than the others to you? Then you could do some research, start to see what's out there, what the quality of the music is like, what it costs. All these different things might give you more ideas and more information that are going to help you make your decisions. You're going to learn what things cost, and you might be able to kind of put a puzzle together of the different elements that you might want, what they cost, and see if that's actually achievable. So bands, for example, a lot of people believe that bands make the party go off better. I don't actually believe that, and having seen many weddings, I can say truly that a really good DJ is just as good as having a band. I don't think people expect for bands to cost £10,000–15,000, and that's just for the band. So when they're going to travel there, you're going to pay for accommodation, flights, maybe the hiring of their equipment as well. That is going to cost a lot more. Unfortunately, musicians aren't always that good at getting videos of them performing, and if they do, they're maybe not that great a quality. So it's really good to use websites like directories. So on La Lista, one of our members, Fix the Music, they're a great directory of musicians. They've already done the vetting for you. You know that the musicians are going to be good. They've got repertoires on there, they've got videos, so you can do lots of research really quickly. One piece of advice is that testimonials of bands and other musicians are quite hard to come by, and I'd say they're very subjective. One person's good is another person's terrible, so just be really careful when you're listening to other people's opinions of how good bands or musicians are. The best advice I can give when you're building your music for the day is, obviously you're going to have to do it in a certain time frame because of who's going to be available and how in demand things are, how busy the market is. But don't rush, because the more that you understand your day and the more that you get into planning and imagine it, the easier it will be to plan your music, because you'll just have a much better sense of how things are going to go. So just don't rush into music, because you've got to get it right. It's a lot of your money and it really affects the vibe of the day. Another tip is to think about how to use the same musicians but maybe for longer. You might really want a string quartet at this ceremony. Actually, you could keep them for a little bit longer and have them at the Aperitif if that was your vibe, and it actually wouldn't cost that much more. So you've got them there, they're going to be booked out all day for you, so you might as well add on a little bit more of their time and then playing and have live music for a bit more of the day. Other people have used bands before and then asked the band if for the Aperitif they could do something acoustic. So you could have a band of 5 people, 2 of them could come off for the Aperitif and just play something light. You could even have a band member stay and be your DJ for the evening. So different bands will have different policies around this. Obviously they're going to charge extra because they're working more and they're working different parts of the day, and these guys work really hard. You know, bands need a hell of a lot of energy and they throw it all into the performance. So they're going to give even more to those other parts of your day. They're just going to need a little bit more for that. And I bet you're dying to know what I see at weddings. I get asked so many times what other couples do, and I have to say, which is the same advice for all elements of wedding planning, you're building your wedding, so it should be suited to you, not what other people do. But obviously it's nice to know how it's worked for other people and what has worked for them. So my favourite setup of music for an Italian wedding day is at the welcome drinks. If you have guests arrive, you have the same type of music as you would have at the ceremony. This is because this sets the tone of your entire day. Imagine your guests walking into the space that is going to have your ceremony. You want it to be atmospheric, you want it to be a little bit emotional and play into this massive, massive moment where you're going to get married. So I'd have something atmospheric here. It could be backing music, it could be strings, it could be acoustic, it could be anything. but make sure it aligns with the feeling that you want guests to feel when they walk into your wedding. The same goes for the ceremony, so you want that to be full of atmosphere. Like, let's be honest, we want people crying. We want to really play on that amazing moment. It's full of emotion and you've really got to get it all out there. Any music that you think is going to have that atmosphere and create that special moment for you. One of my favourite things to see at a wedding is a harp in the ceremony. I think it's absolutely incredible. The music is so beautiful and it really sets the most ethereal tone. My favourite thing to see at an aperitif, very stereotypically, is a lively Italian jazz band. I love 3 or 4 musicians playing classic Italian songs from the 60s, 70s. I know it's corny, I know it's stereotypical, but when you're there in that amazing space having all that food and drink, you're in somewhere in the most Italian picturesque moment ever, just adding a level of that Italian vibe. It takes it up there and it's just wonderful. Through dinner, PA system with a really good playlist that you've put together that is really full of songs that you guys love. You want to set the tone of your dinner here. It needs to be backgroundy. Maybe it builds to a bit of an edge towards the end of the dinner so that you've got a bit of a party vibe coming in. People are starting to want to move around. They're starting to want to go to the bar. You might even find they get up and start dancing. So you can just play into this. I do love a surprise at dinner. Any sort of musical surprise, a bit of an edge. So a tenor you'll have seen lots of times at weddings. Even just live musicians from earlier in the day, they could come back. Imagine if your strings came back and they did like an electronic violin, lights and everything. It'd be amazing. We really want to make that dinner the best dinner experience your guests will ever have, and that is not just about the food for me. And finally, the party. I know, because I hear from every single couple, that you want to have the best party. You want people up dancing and it's really important to you, and in fact loads of people worry about this moment that people aren't going to dance. Let me tell you, almost any music could come on and people will dance. They are ready for a party at this point of the day. They have had lots of food and drink and they are ready to party. But you can make sure that this is epic by choosing a really good DJ. Having a DJ that isn't just playing music but is more of a performer. So that can just be engaging with the people that are dancing. It doesn't have to be that they have live musicians there. It does help when you've got people going around the dance floor. You know, you want people in there dancing with your guests. That is an experience like no other. If they're there dancing with the musicians, playing the instruments, it really is fun, but that's not affordable for everybody. You can have a similar experience if you have a really good professional DJ. And then there's bands. Bands are obviously incredible and they do bring a completely different energy to the party. I personally think it's better to have a really good band or no band. Somewhere in the middle, and you're probably going to affect the whole vibe of the party. If the band aren't good enough, people are going to go to the bar, they're going to sit down, they're not going to want to dance as much. So it's really important, obviously, whoever you have, DJ, musicians, band, to get that playlist right. And you should be able to input into the playlist for any musicians that you have. You probably know what your guests are going to want to dance to. There's a range of songs, a range of eras and genres, but make sure there's some really good current songs in there as well. So that's it. That's how I plan music with all of my couples, and it always works out. And believe me, when they're in their wedding day, they can't believe how atmospheric and incredible it is. Thanks for staying to the end. If you want to help me reach more couples that are planning their Italian weddings and help them, please just like or comment below and share this video, subscribe. Any of those actions will really help us reach more people. Thank you. I hope you have an excellent week and I'll see you next week.